Hi, I'm Katina Anglin, and this is A Good Show. In this episode of A Good Show, we're going to take another look at the Poinciana Mental Health Facility. I know, I said on the last episode that it was the final word on the Poinciana Mental Health Facility. But I've changed my mind, and I just want us to look at some more of the figures that were just recently released in the Cayman Compass. Again, another article by Mr. James Whitaker on the 7th of October 2024, because we got to stay with it actually. You know, we got to keep up with what it is that's going on. We got to be aware. We have to be persistent in this effort as well. And then I want to talk with you about the petition that is now circulating, and we're going to share some details about that with you at the end of the show. So stay tuned. So in the article, $10 million budget overrun on long delay. So in the article, $10 million budget overrun on long delayed mental health facility project has cost $24 million and counting. Now let's just read a little bit from this, and it says, figures shared with the Cayman Compass following a Freedom of Information request show that government has now spent $24 million, including $22 million in capital expenses, in the 7 years since construction began, compared with a pre-construction cost estimate of around $15 million. We live in a country where social development is not one that's brag-worthy, and we still see where the government, because of lack of proper project management, has now costed the country another nearly $10 million in budget overrun. Although we have the seniors who can't get proper medical treatment, we can talk about them some more, because you guys may remember that one of the very first shows that we covered on A Good Show was about the plight of the disabled and the elderly in this country. We're going to go back and we're going to do some updates on their situations as well. So we have the elderly and the disabled who don't have proper access to medical care and treatment, okay, because of a lack of resources. We have a housing crisis where we have families living on the beach, husband, wife, and children, because of lack of resources. We have a drug addiction problem because of lack of resources. But we have overruns on projects by millions of dollars, such as that with the Owen Roberts International Airport overrun. We have the Poinciana, another $10 million overrun. And I don't think that the problem was that when the budget was first looked at and put together for the project, the budget was incorrect. I believe the budget was 100% on target. I think it's the management of the projects, and perhaps some other things that went on during the construction of these projects that has caused these overruns. Let's just have a look at the capital costs in this project. Cost of land, $750,000, okay. Construction of 7 initial cottages and main infrastructure, $12,098,753. Timing for that was 2017 to 2018. Then in 2020 to 2021, the cost of building 1 additional cottage for overseas patients was $808,670. But Now the cost of a second additional cottage for overseas patients is $1,216,330. There are a number of reasons why that figure could be so drastically different. It's like $400,000 different roundabout. Because of the difference in time and the cost of supplies between 2020 2024. And I'll attribute it to that, which is even more reason why this facility have to be promptly opened. Because with every day that's going by, there is an increase in the cost of construction supplies. And every day that's going by, that cost is being handed down to me and you, the public purse. Because the politicians not eating this expense up. It's not going to come out of their salary. What it's coming out of is that it's coming out of the ability for the government to provide proper transportation for disabled individuals to get to their appointments. It is coming down to the government's ability to provide housing for patients with dementia. You never thought about that one for a mental health facility for long-term housing, right? Let me ask a question. What is the plan for all of these elderly people who are being diagnosed with dementia, which the Pines does not have adequate housing, not properly trained staffed for the care and treatment and housing long-term for elderly patients with dementia? Let me answer it for you. There is no plan. There is no plan. Our government would have told you about it a long time ago. So, now that so many of us are affected by our parents, our aunts, our uncles, our grandparents who are suffering from dementia, whether it's early onset or whether it's moderate or whether it's full-blown. How are you coping with dealing with a person that you love, especially if they have an aggressive component to their dementia? Because it certainly can't be very easy. And I can tell you that if you have learned how to cope with it, I would like you to give me a call because I have to deal with it myself. And I appreciate all the help that I can get. So please let me know what your secret is. But I'm in a bit of a fortunate situation because I have another family member who is very, very assistive with my loved one's care. Not everybody has the network that I have. And I'm not saying that to brag about it. I'm saying it because that is the sad reality of where we are at. Not everybody in this country is economically and socially entitled and balanced and have the same things as everybody else does. And there are some people in this country who have now gone and applied to NAU because they need to stay home and take care of their elderly family member who has dementia because nobody else can put up with them. And they are doing what they never thought they would have to do in life, and that is become a NAU dependent. Because you know why? We don't have any plan, we don't have any facility, we don't have any program for dealing with persons with dementia. We have the Alzheimer's and Dementia Association of the Cayman Islands, and I thank God for them every day. When I see them running around in their purple shirts and I know that they are somehow involved, Alzheimer's and Dementia Association, whether it's because they are a volunteer at some of the events or whether it's because they're on the board, whether they're trying to bring awareness, I'm just so very grateful to all of you for all that you do and have been for a very long time. But you know, we need to think as a country about what our mental health care really looks like, and then we need to talk about it, But here's what we need to do. We need to act on it. Because there's no sense thinking about it, talking about it, and then doing absolutely nothing about it. Because at the end of the day, nobody knows who is going to be the next person affected with a mental health care issue. What we do know is that mental health care is woefully lacking in this country. We do not have our own mental health care facility. We do not have enough education and ease of access to services. We do not have programs that are just publicized and public knowledge is there about these programs and about how we as society can actually assist one another with mental health care issues. And that is from dealing with children with certain disorders, like little Noah, and dealing with people who are elderly with dementia, and dealing with our exiled Caymanians who are over in Jamaica crying for us to bring them home. Now, we need, as a country, to act on this. As citizens, as families, as members of community, we need to act. And we need to force the hands of our politicians into action, because there is nothing that the Cayman Islands government cannot do when there is a will to do it. There's a will for the Cayman Islands government to do something. It gets it done quickly, swiftly. Boom, end of story. So tell me why 9 years on we still talking about building a mental health facility in the Cayman Islands. The article goes on to say, medical professionals have long lamented the lack of proper facilities for people with serious mental health conditions in Cayman. Dr. Mark Lockhart, who quit the Mental Health Commission in 2023 in frustration at the slow progress on the issue, told the Compass last month, "I don't know why it is taking so long. It is very much needed for those of us who deal with this, patients with mental health challenges every day. It is extremely upsetting and frustrating." Speaking of Dr. Mark Lockhart and the Mental Health Commission, listen to what the Minister of Health had to say at the recent opening of the parliamentary session on her submissions regarding the Mental Health Commission annual report for 2022. Take a listen.
Mr. Speaker, per the annual report, in 2022, the chair of the Mental Health Commission continued to be Dr. Mark Lockhart, who held this role since the commission was first established in 2014. The chair was supported by Deputy Chairs Klein Glidden, Jr., and Honorable Alex Henderson, KC. The Secretary Ministry Liaison was Janet Flynn. Mr. Speaker, the Commission exceeded its requirements to meet at least 4 times a year with a total of 11 meetings in 2022. During these meetings, the Commission engaged in meaningful dialogue and actioned its legislative responsibilities. The Commission also valued opportunities to meet with specialists such as the Disabilities Council and the Cayman Islands Insurance Association. Mr. Speaker, the Commission satisfies its requirement to provide training by completing 3 sessions with the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, totaling 24 participants. The training focused on sensitivity awareness and best practice for interacting with persons experiencing mental health illness. Mr. Speaker, good health and well-being is the 3rd United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, with mental health noted as an important component of overall health. Feeling mentally well allows individuals to work productively and contribute actively to their communities. Wellness is often used to evaluate a nation's level of development, as good well-being is often seen as a result of progressive, inclusive society.
Meanwhile, Cayman patients living at group homes in Kingston told the Compass they were desperate to come home. So you just heard how the Mental Health Commission exceeded their obligations, and they met more times than they were supposed to meet to come up with solutions to make this thing happen. And yet, our Caymanians still not made it home yet, in desperation, crying out to come home. We have been promised for 6 years that they're going to bring us home, one long-term patient told the Compass. Every month they say, we're coming to get you, we're coming to get you, and they still haven't come. The opposition has tabled new parliamentary questions for the next legislative session starting Monday, that'll be the 14th of October, in an effort to elicit answers from government over the cost overruns and the timeline for Poinciana. Now, you're watching this on Tuesday, 15th of October, so that would have been yesterday's parliamentary session. And I do hope that if you did not listen then, that you listen to it now. Now, this article goes on to say, and it's the last sentence in this, in her last statement to Parliament in July, Minister Turner, said, I will not provide another estimated time frame for the Poinciana Rehabilitation Centre, as that remains beyond my control. So I don't know what I voted for. But the minister just told her that a project under her remit, under her ministry, for which she is responsible, is beyond her control. It's a state of leadership in the Cayman Islands in 2024. It's beyond your elected members' control. There's no parliamentary will to complete the mental health facility. That's why. Because if there was a parliamentary will to complete the facility, it would have a final completion date in 2024. So come on. Since we were talking just now about not just thinking and talking, but about acting, here's what I would like for you all to do. Go online and sign the petition, Exiled in Jamaica Caymanians plea to bring them home. On your screen right now is exactly how you access that petition. And for another couple of moments, it's going to be on your screen so that you can capture the petition details so that you can access it, sign it, share it, talk about it, and call your politician about it. Because the truth of the matter is this: if you don't say nothing, they don't have no motivation, no reason for your elected member to get involved in this if you're not advocating for mental health care in Cayman. And I say, I'm here doing my part. I say you to advocate, because just one more kind reminder before I say goodbye to you for this episode. You don't know who the next mental health care patient will be. It could be you, or your child, a sibling. Well, let's not go that far down the family tree. How about we just stick with you? Join us on another episode of A Good Show. Thank you so very much for being here with me on this episode of A Good Show. We broadcast every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Cayman Life, Channel 33, Logic, and then we rerun on the same logic, channel 33, Cayman Life TV, again at 7 p.m. So you know exactly where to find us. But listen, we're also on YouTube, and you can also find us on Facebook. You can also send us an email at info@christian.ky or a good show at christian.ky. I want to tell our sponsors, thank you so very much for your investments in a good show. And to the Cayman Islands, just remember that the Cayman Islands are a Christian nation enshrined in our Constitution. And that Jesus loves you a whole lot more than I do, because I couldn't find myself giving myself up for people who are caught in sin, doing wrong, doing wicked, doing evil. You know, that takes a love beyond comprehension for somebody to do, and that's what he did for you. So go ahead, so love Jesus with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and with also with your body and the things that you do with it. So sign the petition, be good to yourself, be good to your neighbors, and God bless you.